Anna Winters appears behind Taehyung and Vogue Japan collaboration. The biggest signals in fashion aren't sent with a megaphone, but with a whisper. There was no press release fanfare, no grand ceremony. But within that strategic quiet, a massive story is being told. When a figure is woven directly into the fabric of Vogue, not just featured but integrated, a single question emerges. Who really orchestrated this move? In this world, nothing is random. Every cover, every invitation, is the product of a lengthy, deliberate chain of command. So when Taehyung's presence becomes intertwined with Vogue World and Vogue Japan's core identity, it signals a plan set in motion long ago, far beyond fleeting fame. All roads of influence lead back to one iconic name, Anna Winter. Her direct endorsement is never casual. It is a definitive stamp, placing Taehyung in the category of a global cultural asset, not just a popular face. But the plot thickens with another key player, Tiffany Godoy. Though she has formally stepped down from Vogue Japan, her editorial legacy and vast network remain a powerful undercurrent. So how does a figure, no longer in an official seat, still cast such a long shadow? This reveals the true engine of fashion. It's an ecosystem, not a dictatorship. Decisions ripple through relationships and establish trust. Taehyung's ascent isn't due to one contract or call, but to a consensus built within this powerful network. Vogue Japan, as an institution, continues this momentum. Releases happen smoothly, quietly, as if this is the most natural progression in the world. And that subtlety is the ultimate power play. It suggests a belonging that doesn't need to be shouted. The most powerful invitations are the ones never formally made. The public is now witnessing not a single hand, but an entire system at work. A global editorial machine has chosen to position him within a lasting cultural dialogue. This is no accident. It is the visible peak of an iceberg whose base has been forming for years. The conclusion is unmistakable. This is long-term positioning with a clear future purpose. Yet this story goes deeper than names and titles. Vogue doesn't select faces. It selects futures. Taehyung's recurring presence across different contexts signals he is being read as a multi-hyphenate artist, a figure who transcends a single industry. There's a critical editorial distinction between being featured and being embedded. The first can be bought with clout. The second is earned through perceived legacy. Taehyung has quietly moved into the second realm. His appearances are never isolated. They are chapters in a larger, carefully constructed narrative. An invitation to Vogue World from its central authority is a declaration. It states he is seen as a figure of international weight, not a regional trend. This is when observers realize we've moved past seasonal fads. But this leads to confusion. If a key architect has left, why does the vision feel so intact? The answer lies in institutional memory. Editorial direction isn't erased with an org chart change. A cultivated vision, a refined taste, and forged alliances outlast any job title. Tiffany Godoy's tenure shaped how Vogue Japan evaluates global icons, and Taehyung was clearly identified early as an artist of rare depth and visual poise. So when Vogue Japan continues this collaboration, it speaks of continuity, not individuals. It shows the decision is archival, not administrative. The approach is deliberately muted. No loud campaigns, no over-explanation. When Vogue itself is convinced, it feels no need to convince you. Its restraint is its ultimate confidence. Thus, the who becomes irrelevant. The what is what matters. What extended the invitation was a worldview, a network, a collective belief about the next generation of cultural figures. Weaving together the global center's nod, Vogue Japan's sustained direction, and the enduring influence of past key figures paints a clear portrait. Taehyung isn't experiencing a moment. He is entering a permanent stratum. His presence now operates on a level beyond justification. His position has been validated not by noise, but by quiet, decisive consensus. And as with all major Vogue maneuvers, their full meaning only becomes clear in hindsight. The deeper you look, the clearer it becomes this isn't a one-off. Fashion separates temporary rentals from permanent residents. Taehyung is being curated as the latter. Never announced as a massive deal, yet consistently returning to the same rarefied space. A space reserved for the symbolically enduring. Vogue's genius is in its patience. It moves with deliberation, which makes every small step resonant. Vogue Japan's contemplative, quiet presentation reveals a belief that the subject needs no added hype. The imagery is sufficient. The composure speaks. In this context, silence itself holds immense value. In a world of shouting, the quietest presence commands the room. This is why his presentation feels different. He isn't framed as a shocking disruptor, but as a natural element of the aesthetic landscape. The lens doesn't aggressively pursue him. He meets it with a steady gaze. For Vogue, this signifies a figure who owns his image, rather than being owned by it. Looking back, a pattern emerges. Each of his international fashion moments has been impeccably timed, never overexposed. Each feels like a progression. This level of synchronicity only happens with profound editorial alignment behind the scenes. While the public debates who, the industry observes what. It sees a cohesive persona moving fluidly across music, fashion, and art without losing its core. Leadership changes at Vogue Japan don't disrupt this, because foundational decisions are system deep. They remember who has been vetted, tested, and proven capable of carrying layered meaning. He has passed through those gates. He has been observed, studied, and ultimately positioned. He now appears not as a trial, but as a matured editorial choice. Strikingly, all of this unfolds without a single official title being declared. No global ambassador press release. And that absence is the strongest message of all. This isn't a marketing deal. It's an institutional embrace. Vogue understands that culturally significant figures don't need reintroduction. They simply need the right platform. That platform is now unequivocally his. In a frenetic, loud industry, his aura provides a deliberate contrast. And for Vogue, such contrast is a masterful editorial tool. It commands focus without demanding it. So the pressing question shifts from the past to the future. What is being built? For what endgame? And why the pervasive quiet? Because in the halls of Vogue, sustained quiet is the surest indicator of a major long-game strategy already in motion. By the time the wider world catches up, the process is often already several steps ahead, leaving a trail that can't be dismissed. This makes one thing undeniable. Vogue isn't following, it's architecting. In an era chasing virality, this is a countercultural play. There's no riding a wave, no explaining the choice. For Vogue, authority is built through unwavering vision, not public opinion. Taehyung is being placed in a context seldom offered to pop stars. He is centered not in chaos, but in calm. The editorial doesn't frame him as an anomaly. He is presented as a natural fixture. To a seasoned Vogue reader, this is the most telling signal of all. Fashion is always a discourse on timing. He appears to be in a phase of measured momentum. Not rushed, not delayed. Each step feels like a calculated point on a trajectory, not a reaction to trends. The recent leadership transition at Vogue Japan only underscores this. When a vision persists through structural change, it ceases to be personal preference. It becomes institutional policy. And that policy increasingly focuses on integrating artists of substance into the fashion conversation. Tiffany Godoy may not be making daily calls, but the philosophy she championed, elevating pop culture into a global artistic dialogue, lives on. Not in words, but in continuity. In how Vogue Japan consistently interprets Taehyung as a cross-disciplinary creative. Notably, he is never framed as a fashion newcomer. He isn't introduced. He is present. This is the treatment reserved for those considered past the point of needing validation. Meanwhile, a pattern solidifies. Every Vogue-aligned appearance lands at a moment of significance. Never explosive, never muted, always precisely calibrated. In editorial terms, that calibrated middle ground is the most potent territory of all. Here, the chasm between popularity and legacy becomes visible. Popularity screams for notice. Legacy exerts a gravitational pull. In this narrative, Taehyung isn't chasing the light. The light is adjusting to encompass him. Vogue reads this with meticulous care. They aren't positioning him as just a moment's icon, but as a figure built for the long arc, someone who can be reinterpreted, recontextualized, and remain relevant without needing to transform. Perhaps that is the heart of it all. This partnership isn't crafted to answer today's questions, but to hold meaning for tomorrow. It's a strategic investment, not a fleeting transaction. When every layer is combined, the global center's invitation, Vogue Japan's directional continuity, and an approach unshaken by leadership shifts, a powerful impression takes shape. Taehyung is no longer being auditioned. He has passed that test. He is now being installed. With patience, with precision, with the confidence that his significance will endure as narratives change. Vogue, of course, will never spell this out. They allow time to be the final narrator. Because in their universe, time is the ultimate editor. This leads to an unannounced yet undeniable conclusion. Taehyung's place in the Vogue universe isn't the work of one powerful ally or one perfect opportunity. It is an accumulation of lengthy evaluation, of deep editorial faith, of a conviction that certain individuals communicate on a frequency beyond the surface. Changes in personnel, in structure, even the departure of a pivotal name, do not alter this course. Because truly pivotal decisions don't live within individuals alone. They live within systems, within institutional memory, within a publication's ability to read the future before the public sees it. Vogue Japan continues the story softly. The global entity reinforces it wordlessly. And Taehyung, without uttering a justification, steps into a space crafted for him, not as a visitor, not as a temporary sensation, but as a figure deemed worthy of a permanent place in the archive. In an industry obsessed with speed, this kind of placement is extraordinarily rare. And when it is granted, it serves not to feed public hunger, but to slowly reshape perception. Today it looks like a feature. In the broader view, it is a statement on how the industry now defines lasting cultural value. There is no bold conclusion declared. No final period. Because this story isn't over. It's still evolving. Still unfolding. Still being written by the passage of time. And maybe that's the entire point. That Taehyung's role within Vogue isn't an ending, but the beginning of a new volume. One that requires no explanation, because its direction is already clear to those who are watching.